My mom doesn't really like say English curse words, but she says them unintentionally.
Unintentional? How do you...
So my mom, like, one time she was mad at me because I got a bad grade on a test in school, and I got my progress report back, and my grades were like falling a little bit in math, and she was like, "You have to focus. You have to focus. You have to focus. You have to focus on your school. Focus on your escuela." And I swear to God, when she was yelling at me, saying that I have to focus, and hearing her say focus, I'm like, focus.
It was like Donnie Darko, and she calls him a fuck ass.
You little fuck ass! So I'm here like trying not to laugh, and she's like, "Are you laughing at me? What is so funny?" And I'm like, so then we had a parent-teacher conference.
Oh no.
And she was, you know, my mom, back then, my mom's English was not that good. And she had very heavy accent. She still has an accent, but her English has improved now. But very heavy accent, very not good English. We go to parent-teacher conference. Teacher does not speak Spanish at all. So I go, "Mom, do you want me to, like, help translate?" And she looks at me, she's like, "Excuse me, I can speak English being good. I know what I'm doing. You don't have to tell me. You think I'm a stupida?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think you're stupid. I just want to help." And it was like as if like I called her like a bad word because she got so offended that I offered to translate, because that's the type of person she is. You can't do that to a Puerto Rican mom. Like, you cannot undermine her intelligence. So then we go to the parent-teacher conference, and she's like, "Oh, maestra, teacher, I'm so sorry. I promise she's going to fuck us in school." And I'm like, and the teacher's like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Oh no.
She's like, "I'm going to get her to fuck us in school." And I'm like, "Dear God, help me." And the teacher's like, oh, yeah, focus. Yeah. She just needs to focus on it. So she goes, "Yes, I'm going to get her to fuck us." She's going to fuck us if it is the last thing I do. And I'm like, oh my God, dear God.
Did the teacher understand?
She understood, and then we got home, and I told my dad, and my dad was like, so my dad calls my mom old, right? He calls her vieja. He either calls her mommy or he calls her vieja when he's feeling sassy. He calls her vieja, which means old lady in Spanish. She goes, "Vieja." He's like, "Vieja, ¿qué tú le dijiste? What did you tell the teacher?" And she goes, "I just told her that we're going to get her to fuck us." And he's like, "You told the teacher fuck?" And she's like, "What? I didn't say fuck. I said focus." And he goes, "You said fuck." He's like, "Ay, Dios mío, we have to take you to church right now. You need to confess your sins immediately." And my dad made fun of her for like a month about focus.
Your parents are the best.
And he'd be like, one time he like ran into my room. He was like, "Wait, I'm gonna get your mom." And he comes and he goes get my mom, right? And he brings her in and he goes, "Can you spell focus?" My dad is a fucking troll. My dad's the same person where like he'll walk around the house and it'll be like midnight and he'll come to my door and be like, and then I'll be like, and I'll be like, "Oh, it still works, good." And then he leaves.
Oh my God.
He doesn't. He's such a troll. He used to be so mean. I remember if I ever got in trouble with my mom, he would stand behind my mom and act like he's playing a violin and like do like faces, and then to make fun of me even worse, he'd start laughing and then he'd act like he's playing a guitar and then be like,
why a guitar? Like a sax?
I would get so mad because I'm just like, why the fuck is he like this? Ugh!
I can see where you get a lot of your humor from.
From my troll ass daddy, yeah. It's hard when you live with a troll. There's like a life's troll. My dad has had a very, cause you know my parents are really old, right?
Yeah.
So they've lived like through interesting time periods, you know, and like back in Puerto Rico where they used to live, like my dad was kind of like a badass growing up, you know.
Whoa.
I don't wanna. I feel bad saying these things because he's like, you can't tell people these things, but it's like. I mean, it was his life, you know? So it's like, it's just something that happened to you in your life. Like, when you were that age, you didn't know that certain things were bad for you. Like, he lived in an era where, like, there was really no, like, warning, like, for cigarettes and stuff like that growing up.
Yeah.
So it's like, he smoked, like, when he was, like, a kid.
Oh my god. Like, how young?
Like, I'm afraid to say because if somebody clips this and he sees it, he's gonna get so mad. How do you say this in English? He was from El Campo, which is like, he's from the mountains, you know? My dad was like a mountain boy.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like a mountain boy. Yeah, he was from the country. He was total country guy. And
no.
yeah, everything was very like crazy back in the country, you know? Everything was very crazy back in the country and he lived a very crazy life. And then he met my mom and they met really young and they got married really young and they moved away and they started their life and all this stuff and then they had kids and then they had like nothing happening and then all of a sudden I was a surprise in their old age. Again, well, I say surprise and then Connor was like, oh my god, that's so mean. How dare your parents say that? But yeah, my dad was like a pretty cool guy, but he's always been a troll. And like all of his family members, whenever they would come and visit, they would always tell me stories about how bad my dad was. How badly behaved
Like
my
a
dad
badass?
was.
Or
He,
like
he was a
mischievous?
big prankster and he played a lot of pranks on everybody and he would get in trouble all the time because he just couldn't stop pranking people. And I swear to God, if my dad were to be reborn in this time period now and he would be like, you know, a teen or whatever the fuck, he'd be like a YouTuber doing like prank videos. I swear to God.
Yeah.
He would be doing prank videos. And it's funny because like now in his old age, like he learned how to use YouTube and stuff and now he watches prank videos and he's like, man, these guys are good. And I'm like, most of these are staged. He's like, oh, if I would have done that, I wouldn't have had it staged. I would have done it for real because I'm not pussy. And I'm like,
Oh fuck.
I'm like, Dad, what the fuck?
Your dad sounds cool as fuck.
My dad's a cool dude. He's becoming a very, he's becoming a little old man.